Hey, hello, boys and girls. It's Mr. Soccer. All right, get ready. It's another exciting assignment from CK12. I'll wait a second until you guys are done jumping up and down. All right, okay. All right, here we go. This week's assignment deals with mean, median, mode, and range. You've already heard a few of these words and actually found the mode and found the range on some assignments already. So some of this might be a little bit of a review. This mean, median, mode, and range are all the central tendencies or measures of center. Okay, measures of center. Okay, for the first part here, candy yum yums. Joelle, Annie, David, and Sarah each received a bag of candy containing different numbers of candy pieces. Use the interactive below to divide all the candy pieces equally between them. Okay, and what you need to do is you need to even out the candy so everyone has the same amount when you do this interactive. For today, you're going to need a pencil, paper, and a calculator. Yes, you can use a calculator. If you don't have a handheld calculator or a phone, you can use your computer as a calculator. Just type in calculator and it would pull up a calculator for you. All right. So then you're going to answer the questions that go along with the interactive. All right. Now it gets into some vocabulary. A measure of center is a single number used to describe a set of numeric data. It describes a typical value from the data set. Measures of center include the mean and the median. Okay, and what the mean is, or it's more commonly referred to as the average. And if I'm not mistaken, either with Mrs. Kelly earlier in the year or with Miss Johnson, you have worked with the mean or found the mean in science. Okay, the mean of a data set is the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values in the set. So as you saw with the warm-up with the candy yum yums, the mean can be thought of as evening out the data values. Okay, so you have to add up all your data values and then divide. Okay, get the sum of the data values and divide by the number of that's in your data. Okay, and it is okay if you get a decimal with your answer when you're finding the mean or the average. You could think of the average like in math class. Let's say you have 4 unit tests for the marking period. I would add those grades up for your unit tests, divide by 4. Let's say we had 4 for the marking period, and that would be your average. And that's evening out your data. You can also think, when you want to find the mean, you can think of it as being mean because there's a lot of work involved. You have to divide, or at first you have to find the sum, and then you got to divide. So there's a little work involved to find the mean. All right, the range is the spread of your data. Okay, measure of spread. You could find the range, which we talked about last week, by taking the greatest data value and subtracting the least data value. In other words, it is the difference between the max and the min. And this will tell you the spread of your data. And it'll talk about, that also helps with your variability, which we'll get into next week. And here's an example. So make sure you look at the example for finding the mean. Also, just quickly look at the range, the example. All right, the next one is, again, practicing finding the mean. So read through this, do the interactive, and then answer the questions. Now we're going to get into the median. The median represents the middle value of an ordered data set. It is another measure of center. You might have heard of the word median before to describe the strip of land in the center of a roadway that separates the lanes of traffic going in opposite directions. Just like a median divides a road down the middle, in statistics, the median divides or splits a data set down the middle into 2 data sets. And then you're going to do some practice. One thing you need to be careful with the median is with the number in your data set. So for example, a coach records the distances distances that some cross-country team athletes ran last week in miles. So in this data set, okay, so the number of athletes here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I believe. Let me double check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes, 11. So there's an odd number, right? 11's an odd number, so there's 11 in your data set. So when this happens, when you have an odd number in your data set, the median will be right there for you. It'll be one of these numbers, okay? When you have an even amount in your data set, it's going to come down to two numbers, two middle numbers, and you have to find the average. So for example, let's say it, again, this is not the case here, or it could be, I'm not sure, I haven't done this yet, but let's say it came down to 7 and 8, okay? Remember, you have to list them in order from least to greatest. Okay, that's important, least to greatest. Okay, let's say it came down to 7 and 8. Well, what's the middle number between 7 and 8? It would be 7.5. Or you could look at it as finding the average or the mean of these two numbers. 7 plus 8 is 15. And there's 2 in our data set here because we're only looking at 7 and 8. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, now again, the median. The key part is ordering it from least to greatest. Get that data in order from least to greatest. Okay, and then if there's an odd number in your data set, the median will be right there. You won't have to do any extra calculations or any extra work. If it's an even number in your data set, then it's going to come down to two middle numbers, and you have to find the median, or you could look at it as finding the mean of those two numbers. Okay? And then, of course, here's some examples and some practice and answer questions. Okay? Now, the mode. Personally, I think the mode is one of the easier things to find because you just have to find out which one in your data set occurs most frequently. A data set can contain multiple modes. If there's two modes, it would be bimodal. If it has three or more, you could look at it as multimodal. Okay? Don't get caught up too much on these two vocabulary words. You might see it in the practice questions, but just know mode is the data value that occurs most frequently in the data set. And it is okay to have two modes, and it's even okay to have more than two. You could have 3, 4 modes. And then from there, you're going to do some practice. Okay? And remember this, read these 3 bullets. It gives a quick review. And one thing, the middle bullet here, it's interesting here. If you have an outlier, remember an outlier is one that is way away from your data set, whether it's greater than your data set or less than your data set, to the right or to the left of your data set. Okay? That will affect the mean more than the median. Okay? That would affect the mean more than the median. Okay? All right. So after you finish all these interactives, again, it's assigned Monday, it's due on Wednesday. Again, you're gonna need a pencil, piece of paper, and you can use a calculator for this. Then you're gonna go to, I think yours says start practice. This is the teacher version I have up here. So yours might be worded a little bit different, but you can go to your practice problems. And remember, you have to get 10 complete to be done. Okay, once you get 10 complete, it will say done for now or keep practicing. Something like that, okay? You can be done after you get 10 correct. Okay, and just remember, you have to hit the big in yellow, the turn in button on top. Because if not, I will not get your grade. That's happened a few times with a couple students. All right, so then you're gonna answer the 10 questions. It's, the question is gonna be about mean, median, and mode. And I'm sure you get a range question as well. All right, so the mode of the given data, Here's your data set. You just need to find the mode. Okay? I'm just going to hit stop for now. And just a reminder, once you get to this part, your work will be saved. So if you answer 3 questions and want to come back, all right, you can just hit stop for now. And when you come back, it will pick up where you left off. Okay? When you get to the practice part, I'm just going to hit stop for now. And once it gets back to the interactive, I'm just going to exit out of this here. This part here, all these interactives, let's just say, let's pick a name. Let's say that Kate, all right, came on the computer and she wanted to do a little bit of CK12. She knows that she doesn't have time right now to do the whole thing, but let's say that she gets through the Candy Yum Yums, she reads through this, and she gets through the mean part of this here. And she says, you know what, I'm going to stop and I'll come back later to the median. Okay? This will not save for you. It won't save all of her previous work. Just remember where you left off. When you come back to the interactives, just pick up, in this case, Kate would pick up at the mind the median at this part and continue on. All this stuff that she did previously won't save, which is okay. She did it, she practiced it, she did interactive, so she's good to go. The practice part will save your work when you get to view practice, okay? Hope this helps. All right. Listen, again, I have my help sessions on Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 to 11:30. So if you have any questions with CK12 or later in the week when I assign MathXL, if you have any questions on that, you can come on and ask your question. And the good thing is Mrs. Lorraine is on on as well, and she can she's a huge help as well. Okay, listen, keep working hard. All right, don't forget your daily warm-ups. People are forgetting the warm-ups, and unfortunately, it is affecting their grade a little bit, their warm-up grade. So make sure you do 5 warm-ups a week. Okay, 5 warm-ups. If something happens where I don't assign a warm-up, I will let you know on my daily video. So make sure you're catching my daily video as well. Okay? All right. Miss you guys. Talk to you soon. Mr. Soccer is out. Peace.